Hi, I'm Maddie Simpson, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
I'm super excited about your second track. It's different from your debut single.
Yes.
I feel like your vocal range is even higher on this track, and I feel like it was more of a challenge to create this. Like, tell me what that production was like for you.
This one's definitely more personal. So writing it was definitely more of like a very vulnerable, opening up type of experience.
Right.
The other one was definitely more fun, like very laid back, very chill. But this one I really had to like dig deep from front to finish. It's telling the story.
Right.
So yeah, this one was definitely, it was actually easier just because
Really?
it comes from a personal experience.
Yeah, I get that.
Definitely took more time because we wanted to figure out the best way to say it, everything like that. And production wise, it was very, very different. The first cut of this song was very kind of stripped back. It was more my vocals, and I knew from the minute I wrote it that I wanted it to have more of that R&B sound.
Right.
But still sonically be in the same lane as the first single. So we played around with it for a long time, but this is kind of what you hear is what I heard in my head the minute I wrote it. So it took a little while to get there, but I'm really, really happy with how it turned out. I'm glad you like it.
What started the song? Like, was there a specific verse that you kind of wrote or you thought about, and then you were like, okay, this is a new track for me?
We had the chords of the chorus, I think it was.
Okay.
And
So you work with chords first before lyrics?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We had the concept. We knew what we wanted to talk about.
Right.
And we just kept hearing, woulda never known, woulda never known. And then we
Which
were
is
like,
quite catchy.
yeah, thank you. And then it was just like, we need to add the phone somewhere in there because it's the biggest part of the story.
Right.
So it started with the chorus, and then the verses were just kind of like explaining what happened from my perspective. And kind of I'd say it all started from the chorus for sure.
So talk to me about working with Harvey. This is, again, another track that you worked with him on. What is that relationship like with you guys in the studio, and how did you guys kind of come together?
I met Harvey about a year and a half ago. I came to his studio. I met him. I met his whole team, and we just kind of clicked. Everybody in the studio around me just completely understood what I was trying to go for, sonically, lyrically. Harvey's music that he's written and produced over the years has been stuff that I've been so inspired by. So to work with him has been such a blessing because he completely understands the sound that I'm going for.
Right.
And he put me with a team of so many incredible writers and producers that are under him that have been learning from him and growing, from his direction. So it's been really, really fun to work with everybody there.
Now, as far as your writing, like, how do you feel like, how did you kind of learn to write the way that you do today? Especially because I was saying this earlier off camera, that it's like so crazy that someone younger than myself can take me back to like the 90s.
Oh, wow.
So, how did you kind of learn to write music that way?
I don't know if I ever learned. I think I'm always learning. Every session that I go into, I learn something new. That's why I love writing with other people because everybody writes a different way. I've never been with a writer that works the same as another writer, which I think is really cool. As far as the sound, going back to the 90s, I think it's just that's all I listen to. So that's kind of how I've learned, melodically, okay, what are they doing? Their type of songs, like how do they go from a verse to a hook to, whatever it may be. But every single session I go into is very different. So I hope that I never stop learning.
Right.
So, but I started writing when I was 15, and I'll be 21 in December. So I think it's just personal experiences too have shaped how I write, how I want to write about them.
Now,
Yeah.
in the past, you've done a lot of covers. How do you feel like those covers kind of helped you create music, and how, what was it about those covers that you chose that, you wanted to create them at the time?
Yeah, I never had like a Justin Bieber experience on YouTube where they like blew up or anything.
Right.
But I put them up just for fun. I didn't really know what else to do. I didn't know how to like get into a studio and meet producers, and that's actually how my lawyer found me, was through my YouTube videos, and that's how I started to be able to go to a studio and like learn how to write with people. And so without those videos, I don't know. I think that anybody who like wants to start working in a studio, whether it's writing or producing or singing, the best thing to do is like play with your favorite genre of music and sing and write to it and post it. Like that's what I think the biggest like thing about social media is, you can share your passions with anybody, and you never know who's going to stumble upon it. I think that's the really cool thing about YouTube and stuff like that in general.
Now back to the studio creating Woulda Never. Where do you feel like you got challenged on this track?
Definitely opening up, because I didn't write this song right after it happened. It wasn't one of those, oh, I can't believe I'm going through this. I have to write about it right now. It happened a very long time after. I don't know if it was I never found the right people to open up to as far as co-writers and producers, but I think just being able to like tell the entire story to a room full of people and just have them like sit with it, and I think opening up. But again, if I wouldn't have had this song. So I think it's really important in the writing process. You have to be vulnerable. You have to be able to like share anything and everything.
Right. And I've always noticed like fans tend to feel the songs more when it's something more personal, but at the same time, a lot of artists say that like they don't like to think about it when they're creating it, because that initial emotion when you first sang that, that hook or that track, like, is never going to sound the same after like so many takes. Did that happen for you?
Well, because this happened so long after, I didn't really realize that I needed a song like this when I was going through what I was going through until it was all done. So while we were creating it, it almost felt like we were just making up this story and telling the story. It really was not till after that I was like, wow, I'm so glad I wrote this. Right. Yeah.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, this song has a higher vocal range. At least that's what it sounds like. How did you get comfortable in singing the way that you did on this track? And did you have any certain parts in this song that kind of challenged you in singing them?
My favorite part of this song is all the harmonies at the end. We spent a lot of time with the outro and the ad-libs on the last chorus. That's one of my favorite things to do, is ad-libs and harmonies and stacking things. I wrote the whole outro myself, so finding like the harmonies and stuff like that was really tricky, and that's when Harvey came in and gave his input and we worked on it together. Vocally, this song is definitely probably harder than the first, but it's also, for whatever reason, I don't know if it's because it's something that's personal, it feels very comfortable to sing. Right. So I don't know. It's just something that this song came very naturally in all aspects. Right. Yeah.
My favorite piece, two parts of the song were the outro. I love the way that you closed the song. And then I love that little run that you did towards the end where you say, I'm fine.
Oh, thank
like
you.
That was, I was not expecting that because, since it was towards the end of the song, I wasn't expecting to hear that. But tell me about creating that run. Did that just come naturally for you, or is that something that you kind of like, imagine doing?
When I do ad-libs, I just have them run the track back and I'll just do whatever. I will mess up like 50% of the take, but then we'll grab what we think sounds great. So that just came out. All of what you hear truly just came out, but it's not, we do like 4 different tracks and then we pick the best stuff. So
now the single's out now. You have a show at the Mint coming up on the 14th, I want to say. What can we expect, or what can fans expect for those that are coming out to watch you at the show?
That one, it's an all acoustic set. Okay. So I'll be doing the 2 singles that are out, a couple unreleased songs. I'll be doing a cover of one of my favorite songs, which I'm super excited about, but it's all acoustic. So it really is about connecting with the audience and letting them hear my voice just kind of for how it is, because these tracks, like, they definitely have production behind them, obviously. So when I'm in an intimate setting like that, I really want to make sure that it's just super stripped back and acoustic and personal, really. Yeah.
And then for those fans out there that are not familiar with you, why do you create music?
I don't know what I'd do without music, to be quite honest. It's all I can really see myself doing. It's what I love to do more than anything. That's why I created. I don't know how I couldn't create it, is really the only way I can put it. It's like my therapy. It's everything to me. I really don't know how I could live without it.
Amazing. Well, congratulations with the new single. You guys be sure to check out Maddie Simpson. New single, Woulda Never, is out now. And thanks for watching on Front Row Live.